Good morning. Another day, another arrest of an MTV star for domestic violence. Over the early this morning, rather, at 3 a.m. Los Angeles time, multiple calls were placed to Los Angeles County Sheriff's Office and Police Department related to a woman running down the street, screaming for help as a man ran after her with a knife, and it was none other than Ronnie Ortiz-Magro of Jersey Shore. Now, Ronnie and Jen Harley have been involved in a relationship that has been on again, off again, on again, off again, with multiple physical altercations between these two. Most recently, an altercation that occurred in just on New Year's Eve of 2018, 2019, where he alleged that she threw an ashtray at his face, and then she alleged that he broke into her home and smashed all of her belongings, her TV, took things off the wall. Police were never able to determine if he did that, and Jen was arrested in May, but then charges were dropped against her. Now it seems that trouble has been brewing in paradise again. If you remember earlier, like in September, the two called it quits. They have called it quits so many times, it's hard to even keep straight. They were seen yesterday out in Los Angeles. TMZ actually caught Jen and Ronnie walking with, while the paparazzi asked them questions about their relationship. They insisted that everything was good. Ronnie told the paparazzi that he was in town for a launch party for his CBD line. And according to reports, Jen told the Los Angeles police that Ronnie was using cocaine in the hours and minutes leading up to what happened. So here's what happens. According to Fox 11 News, who actually broke the story in Los Angeles, Jen actually pressed a panic button in her Airbnb in Los Angeles and requested help and believed that she was in danger. She then ran down the street while Ronnie, in a fit of rage, held their 18-month-old daughter a knife and chased her down the street. According to witnesses, she went up to a door and knocked on the door and begged for help, and Ronnie attacked her in front of the witness. Eventually, Ronnie turned around, according to police reports and to the reporter on the scene from Fox 11, returned to the home, walked into the house, and locked himself in the home with their 18-month-old daughter, with Jen outside. When police arrived at the scene, Jen told them that he was inside. She was scared and fearful for her daughter's safety, and that he was armed with a knife. Police eventually had to break down the door because Ronnie was not cooperating, and when he opened the door, he was combative, and because of that, he started attacking the police, and the police had to tase him. Shortly after his arrest, Fox 11 News, as you can see, grabbed some photos of a dazed Ronnie. He was subdued with the taser, and he was taken to a local hospital following this, and then released, and he is expected to be booked into Van Nuys jail in Los Angeles. He was arrested for suspected domestic violence and kidnapping of their daughter. This was them yesterday as they walked down Rodeo Drive having lunch, and they talked about how happy they were, how everything was going really great, how they don't listen to people about their relationship, how they just keep focused on each other and their child and their family. And then this was a distraught Jen after the event. She was apparently looking for a necklace that he had ripped off of her neck shortly after or during the altercation. She located it behind a trash bin with the help of police. There they are again with the paparazzi. He was laughing. At this point, I actually grabbed this screenshot because at this point they were talking about Mike, the situation, who was recently released from prison for tax evasion, and he said, well, maybe I need to go to prison for 8 months to get ripped like Mike. Maybe that's what's happening. It's funny how it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy there. And then yesterday she shared he had purchased her a diamond necklace, and it says, for National Boyfriend's Day, I got some new bling. Happy National Boyfriend's Day. So this is not a first for Ronnie. In fact, He has had a history of being violent with previous girlfriends. His previous girlfriend before Jen was Sammy Sweetheart, who was previously on Jersey Shore. He had a history of violent outbursts with her as well. Prior to the recent the recent arrest of Jen Harley in May and their altercation in January, if you remember, they were going through a breakup in Las Vegas about a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, and Jen actually videotaped on Instagram Live Ronnie attacking her. While it's obviously that there is two people involved in this, let's be clear that this incident last night involved Ronnie attacking Jen. She is the victim. She had injuries, minor, on her on her hands. She had scratches on her face and neck, according to the police reports. And he will be booked on felony domestic violence. And TMZ is reporting that he has been also arrested on kidnapping. So this is, again, Ronnie has been displaying for years extremely problematic behavior, violent behavior, more so than any of the other castmates. He has had so many different run-ins with the laws. He has had and battled addiction. As this previous spring, he was in rehab to deal with an alcohol and drug addiction, and apparently last night was relapsed and using cocaine again. And according to Jen, the use of the cocaine turned him into a violent, rage-filled man where he needed to be tased by police. I can't imagine how scary that must have been for Jen, but more importantly, how scary that must have been for this child. In the middle of all of this violence between this couple, the biggest question is, like, how are the family members and how are people keeping this little girl safe? Because it's clear that she is in the middle of these massive fights on a consistent basis. This relationship has been filled with DV altercations since they got together, and it's hard to understand. Like, Jen has said on Instagram that MTV has been covering for him and has been allowing and enabling this behavior for a really long time, and that she asserts that she is actually the victim. That's her statements. That was what actually she said in early September. Somehow they decided to get back together after she made those statements on Instagram, and now here we are again with another arrest, but this one is by far bigger than the first one. I can't understand why MTV continues to allow people that have such problematic behavior continue to have a platform on their network. Now, it'll be interesting to see how they handle this altercation, being that it is a man, but the fact of the matter is they've been protecting Ronnie and his relationship with Jen for years. But at some point, there needs to be something that's done here. Now, felony DV can end up with really significant time in jail, depending on what he's ultimately charged with. And he hasn't yet been booked, so I don't know what his bail will be set at and what the official charges will be. I will keep you updated as I check and continue to stay updated on the booking information for him. I've been checking on the Los Angeles Superior Court system, as well as on the inmate search for the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Office. He has no booking record at this point in time. Sadly, it's another reality star, another incident, another MTV reality star, I should say. It seems to be a pattern of behavior with this network. And again, I will be extremely interested to see how the network responds. The Jersey Shore Family Vacation has been airing on MTV on, I think, Wednesdays or Thursday nights. They're in the middle of a season right now. And in the most recent episode, cast members were discussing their concern about Ronnie and Jen's relationship. Both of them seem to be involved in a very toxic relationship. Their family members want them to get out of this. But at this point, it appears that alcohol and drugs played a factor in this, and that Ronnie is now in a whole world of trouble. Like, this is going to be tough for him to get out of if she cooperates. But I'm hoping that in this case, and all the previous cases, neither one of them has agreed to cooperate. I'm hoping, because their daughter was involved in this case and their witnesses that saw it, that they will cooperate and not walk away and have these dropped, because every other case between these two has ended up in drop charges because neither one of them will cooperate. So let's just hope that Jen cooperates and does the right thing and gets out of this relationship and gets this kid away from this toxicity. And I hope the family steps up and does something to keep this little girl safe. I am, again, not surprised because Ronnie is a P. Ronnie is just, he needs help. He needs a lot of help. And MTV is just fueling his ability to have access to all of these things. So I'll keep you guys updated as soon as I know more. And if you have any questions, concerns, or leads, make sure you leave them in comments below or contact me on my Instagram at Without a Crystal Ball, on Twitter at WOA Crystal Ball, or on Facebook at facebook.com/Without a Crystal Ball. Bye, guys.